Hello, welcome to Pod Maverick After Dark. I'm Kirk Henderson, joined as always by Josh Bowe. We are editors at Mavs Moneyball. We are coming to you Friday night, October 24th. Just for full disclosure, folks, it is harrowing weather in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And given the nature of our state's power grid, I wouldn't be shocked if we all just if the show happens to stop. It's not because Nico Harrison came and got us. It's because the weather is goofy and the power grid could shut down at any moment. Josh, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. I want to address the elephant in the room. I am upholding my word. I am not wearing a shirt right now. There's nothing underneath this heavy winter coat I'm wearing. So technically, by the rule of the law, I am shirtless.
You have to give full disclosure because our podcast audience is not necessarily the social media audience.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So in our Slack, I was just kind of riffing around the other day because our Slack got a little doomer. Shocker. In our Mavs Moneyball Slack was worried that the Mavericks would lose this game to the Washington Wizards, and I was pretty much like, no, the Wizards stink, and like I get the concerns, but I would, and I wasn't even trying to be like, some people think I do this because I'm like trying to like reverse jinx. Like
no.
I legitimately thought the Mavericks were. Yeah, I legitimately thought the Mavericks were going to win this game. The Wizards stink. They were down 40-23 against the Bucks in their first game. They are an interesting team talent wise, but they are a bag of marbles that you kind of just like shake out of a bag. Like they are a baby dove. They are a baby deer trying to learn how to walk. Some of their guys, I like a lot of their talent, like their young talent, but I don't think they're a very good team right now. So I thought the Mavericks would win. And the thing was, everyone's like, oh, they're not playing well. They're not. And I was like, I don't even think the Mavericks need to play well to like, they might just war of attrition, veteran out talent them. You know, they might have one of those games where they shoot 43%, but the Wizards miss all their shots and they win. Needless to say, that did not happen. And I made a post in Slack saying, if the Mavericks loses to the Wizards, I will podcast shirtless, realizing that this is not our real job, our full-time job. And I have a job that pays the bills. I did not feel like being on the internet, exposing myself in a way that could endanger my family. How dare you, internet, wanting to take away my livelihood?
Well, we've sort of buried the lead.
I'm compromising. Yeah, the Mavericks lost.
We've yet to actually say out loud that the Dallas Mavericks lost to the Washington Wizards.
By double digits.
By double digits in a game that quite candidly was not close for much of the game. The Wizards, so for full disclosure, I caught all of this game, but this is the first Dallas Mavericks game since probably sometime in March that I did not watch with my analyst hat on. I do my best to really pay attention to these games. It is Josh mentioned. It's
especially
not,
when you do the recap, you're taking notes. You write.
Yeah, I'm just like
you pay attention. Yeah.
Largely because it helps me process. But tonight, my kid had a couple of sports games. My wife's out of town. I had the baby and the older kid, and there's just a lot going on. And so the game's kind of on, and I'm watching it, and probably just quite candidly watching it the way most people watch games, which is, you know, you might have your phone in your hand, you might be eating some dinner, and the Mavericks played a pretty good first quarter, actually kind of a good first quarter, if we're being candid. Then in like the final 30 seconds, I think they gave up, or it's like the final minute, I think they gave up 2 or 3 3-pointers. They had the Wizards on the ropes, so to speak, and ended the first half. I think they were down. Where's the box score to that? They were either down. They were either the Mavericks were either up 7 or they were up 5. I can't remember, but at a certain point, it looked like they were going to be up double digits in the first quarter.
They were up 14 in the first at one point.
In the first quarter, they were up 14, and then the Wizards basically closed it, made a little bit of a run. Then the second quarter, everything just went to hell. The offense ground to a halt. The defense was non-responsive and not reactive. And the Mavericks entered halftime down 8 when they really could have been down more. And then the same thing happened to the Mavericks in the third quarter against the Wizards that happened against the Spurs, where they just were ineffective basketball, passionless basketball, tight, closed off basketball, paired with and like, I'm sorry, we just got to say it out loud. Anthony Davis does not look like the Anthony Davis of everybody's highlight reel. And if he's not looking fantastic, it lowers the ceiling on these Mavericks and everything else becomes significantly more difficult. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, if he's not the best player on the floor in a game for Dallas, then Dallas is in trouble. And he was not the best player on the floor tonight. He wasn't.
And the fourth quarter, the Mavericks finally made a little bit of a run, led much more by Cooper Flagg than Anthony Davis, which is, you want to win. I don't really care who's doing what, as long as the Mavericks win. That's important. Again, we want the Mavericks to win. Can't believe I have to say that out loud. At least I do. You're more dispassionate than I am. And things fell apart. And they fell apart in a way that I think really illustrates what our concerns are with this team top to bottom, like going back into our preseason preview and some of the things we said over the summer, where when you get down by double digits, and if you're not an effective 3-point shooting team, it becomes significantly harder to dig yourself out of holes.
Yep, absolutely. They managed to do it because, they got to the free throw line a bunch. But also like Washington, it was just funny.
They got to the free throw line less than Washington.
That's true. This was a weird game because it felt like the Mavericks lost by 10, but it felt like they lost by more. The turnovers were insane. They had 21 turnovers. I really feel like if Washington if Trey Johnson closed this game out over CJ McCollum or Bub Carrington, I think Washington would have won this game by 25 points. Those guys were throwing, and Chris Middleton was horrible. I know Washington needs some adults in the room, but that was crazy in the fourth quarter. But yeah, I don't even know. This loss felt, I think the Spurs loss was so bad because they lost in a way that you didn't think, they didn't lose in a way that you thought that they were going to lose this season. Like the Spurs didn't kill them with spacing and speed and shooting. They kind of just did to Dallas what Dallas wants to do to their teams. They kind of just manhandled them. And you're like, well, the Mavericks might not win a lot of, even if you're a pessimist on this Mavs team, you think, well, they're not going to win a lot of games. You probably still wouldn't say that that's the way they would lose those games. This felt more like the script of this kind of exposing the weakness. Like, this is how I expected them to lose games when they do lose. Now, I didn't expect them to do it to a team as bad as Washington this early in the season and at home. But
holy shit. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the box score now. You mean to tell me Anthony Davis, PJ Washington, and Cooper Flagg combined for 18 turnovers?
Yeah, man, it was bad.
Fucking hell. I didn't realize it was that bleak.
They're not playing a point guard. They don't I don't
interrupt the flow, but I got to because we have a little more active chat tonight, which I'm very thankful for. Note that if you're commenting on Twitter, we can see your comments, but the YouTube chat can't necessarily. If you want to comment and participate in the show, pop in on the YouTube stream. That's probably more effective. And that's where you'll see a little more back and forth with people. Sorry. So keep going. I didn't want to interrupt, but I do want to pay attention to our live audience.
Yeah. I mean, they're not playing a point guard, and I'm very curious. D'Angelo Russell played 9 minutes tonight and didn't play in the second half. He was 0-3 from the floor, only had 1 point from one free throw, missed his other free throw. He did have 3 assists and 0 turnovers in those 9 minutes. In fact, none of the bench guards. Brandon Williams played 7 minutes. He didn't have any turnovers, but he also didn't make any baskets. Jaden Hardy had no turnovers in his 11 minutes, got up a bunch of shots. Jason Kidd is kind of like scrambling.
I feel like he's fucking with us.
I don't know. I don't know if he doesn't like. Someone brought this. I can't. Forgive me who said this, but someone tweeted at me and was like, "Is D'Angelo Russell like the Christian Wood 2.0 in terms of is this a move that Nico wanted and Kidd didn't?" And I don't know. We're 2 games in. It's probably too early to say that, but it's starting to feel that way. because I mean they need him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little flabbergasted at not necessarily that, like if he was playing poor, like the minutes is what's crazy. And they're just going to smash this square peg through a round hole of just not playing a point guard. And honestly, like if the Mavericks don't see themselves as contenders, it's kind of whatever. Like you just take your lumps and you try to hope that you get on Cooper is better for this on the other side. But if their goal is to win, they're not going to win games if they keep rolling out this no point guard Coop point forward lineup, at least for like the first 20 or so games of the season. Maybe it gets better as Cooper gets his sea legs, but like I don't anticipate them winning many games with this rotation of just not having any guards. But also, if Kidd just doesn't if Kidd doesn't think Russell is going to help him win games, I mean that could be it too. It might not be that he thinks he wants to develop
in Kidd's
over wins. He might not like Russell.
Every time Russell attacks the paint, I think, oh no, what horror show befalls us? Because he was, what was he tonight? He was 0 for 3. Filibuster for a second. I need to go look at his stats for the next, just going back through preseason.
Yeah, no, he didn't play. He started the first preseason game and then didn't play, I think, in the next one. And then they've been point Cooper.
He is 5 of 22.
Yeah, that's not great.
And almost he's only he's not taking a ton of threes. He's at 1 3. Not good.
No, it's not good. So yeah, this was a game. I mean, the Mavericks lost this on both sides of the floor because they couldn't guard. I mean, the Wizards were 15 of 36 from 3. And, the thing happened that we said, they don't have any credible guard defenders. So they're giving up threes because they are getting put in the rotation just so easily. Guys are getting beat off the dribble, even without screens. And it's just easy, clean beats. And the defense has to scramble, overreact, rotate, and they're just giving up corner threes. They're giving up way too good looks. I mean, the Wizards had, what were they from corner? They were 5 of 8 from the corners tonight, 4 of 5 from the right corner.
Yep.
So they were killing the Mavericks from the corners. It's kind of the difference in the game. I mean, the Wizards were 5 of 8 from the corner, and the Mavericks were 3 of 7. So 6 more points there from corner threes in a game you lose by 10. And they were getting to the rim. They're also scoring at the rim pretty easily. Like that's another thing we talked about. The Mavericks want to own the paint defensively, and it's hard to own the paint when you can't contain a live dribble because then you have to help. And when you have to help, someone's open and teams are getting loose underneath the basket because the Mavericks have to kind of overcorrect and help because they can't contain dribble penetration. Now the Wizards had 40 points in the paint, which isn't terrible, but 40 points in the paint plus 15 made 3-pointers. That's not good. Like if it's 40 points in the paint and then you're running them off the 3-point line and they make like 7 threes, now you're cooking. But 40 points in the paint and you're giving up threes, like you're not taking. They didn't make the Wizards uncomfortable. They didn't take away anything they want. Like the Wizards were kind of just doing what they wanted. I felt like the Wizards got every shot that they really wanted. Like they didn't start feeling uncomfortable, I think, until the fourth quarter when the Mavericks kind of buttoned some things up and they kind of went to their vets. But yeah, now I'm kind of rambling. No,
it's good. We're gonna take a short break here. We're doing our best to keep our shows at around half hour unless they really deserve more talking. And this is one of those games where. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna insert some ads, and if you will listen to them, if you're listening on the podcast, over your weekend, we'd appreciate it. I know ads are annoying, but that's one of the main ways that you can actually support Josh and I. The other way you can support Josh and I is clicking the link that's in the comments and in the show notes. Directly goes to us. If you want to support us via the super chat, we would appreciate that too. Josh and I will be right back. Okay, so if you are new to the show or don't subscribe for whatever reason, I really do recommend subscribing to the YouTube channel. I will be hosting a group therapy, which you can come and talk about this game with us. It's good to process this stuff, talking with other people. I had a great time the other night after the Spurs game. I feel better after losses, after like actually talking with people versus say arguing on Twitter or Reddit or through text message. Just nice. We watch this thing as a collective, and you should process those feelings with other folks. So one of the things that I'm just sort of thinking about, and this is a thought process, so tell me if you think I'm really dreadfully mistaken. Part of why the Mavericks themselves, I don't think, had any idea how bad their defense would be is the fact that they don't have the players through which to test one another in practice and in I mean
that's a good point.
How are you supposed to simulate guard pressure and attacking the rim? I mean, Wemby's a whole other thing. Throw out the Wemby game, he's beating the shit out of you. But how are you supposed to simulate, lead guard rim pressure if you don't fucking have any?
That's a good point.
So it's like, I'm sure all these great practice clips where AD's screaming and blocking shots and cool, you're blocking Jaden Hardy. He is not an NBA player. And so this is just sort of going through my head where I think the coaches are struggling to adapt because they don't know how to there's just no way to put into practice the kind of things you're going up against on a night-to-night basis.
For sure. And then you say that, but the Wizards' best player was their power forward.
Okay. I mean, but
which is also, no, you're right. But it's also that part is kind of baked in where it's like, that's bad, but we kind of expected it. You can't let the other team's power forward, go off on you like that. But that's also the problem because they're playing if teams are going to play a 4-man that can stretch the floor and hit threes, I don't know.
Well,
what they're going to do.
That's where it's like people probably
because they played Derek Lively off the floor this game. They couldn't,
which sucks.
Yeah, because he's important,
and he moves back. And this is again, you watch this game more closely than I did. Here's the dirty little secret, which I think I'm just going to have to just beat the hell out of until he proves me wrong. Anthony Davis as a defender in space is dead as a concept right now. He can't move. He's not moving. He is not moving. This is not an opinion. This is a statement of fact. We have a lot of fans that really love to tell me that the things that I'm seeing are wrong and I am a moron. Anthony Davis cannot defend in space right now. So having him as the power forward in a position where he's guarding on the perimeter is one of the reasons, not the only reason, one of the reasons why they're getting smoked.
Right, because you're asking him to close out the shooters, and even when he was in his prime, like you still don't want him doing.
It's
that.
hard. Like asking, like there's a reason Wembanyama looks so good in it, and also there's a reason why big men over the age of 30 don't really like the athleticism. Just takes a drop. You're asking a whole heck of a lot of him, and he also is asking a lot of himself, and he just can't do it. On top of the fact that he is very clearly not in shape. I mean, I watched the Wizards broadcast. Drew Gooden basically made fun of Anthony Davis for an hour. Like, it was really uncomfortable, even for me, who's a bit of a Davis, skeptic. And
no, Davis was terrible. Like, I mean,
so here's my question though. Why are we taking Lively off the floor? Is it because Anthony Davis is the big salary guy? I mean, Lively can move in space. Lively, I would argue, is a better space mover than, or at least more. He's a little jumpier. He doesn't have the instincts yet, but it's just, am I wrong on that? Okay. I don't
know if you're wrong. I don't like Lively in space either. Like, he's not good in switches. He's not good at guarding the perimeter yet. But also I thought I want to check the numbers tomorrow when we get lineup data.
Okay.
I would love to see what the Lively, Cooper, PJ lineup played. It played a little bit, I think, in the first half.
That's my favorite lineup. That's most people's favorite.
I only remember getting a lot of burn in the second quarter, and the Mavericks lost the second quarter 30-17. So maybe I'm talking out my ass. Like, I don't know. Yeah. But also, like, okay, so you're gonna bench Anthony Davis. Like, is that what you're saying? Like, and your answer might be yes, bench Anthony Davis because he's not playing well. But they're not going to do that.
I mean, we benched I know there's a certain segment of our fan base that's like, I hate it when you talk about the guy who went to the Lakers, Luka Doncic is his name. The Mavericks sure as fuck weren't afraid to tell Luka to get his ass in shape. And they're right to. So how about we tell Davis to get his big old butt in shape? Like, I heard Justin Verrier, the Ringer, talk about how Anthony Davis looks like he's put on muscle. And I'm like, what fucking game are you watching? I watched Victor Wembanyama put his shoulder, and granted, again, Victor's incredible, put his shoulder into, and it didn't look like a super athletic guy. I'm sorry. I'm very frustrated with the Anthony Davis experience. He is the linchpin to this working. And if he is not who they thought he was, then he needs to take the time to become who he can be again. I don't think it's gone, but the player we're watching right now is not the player that we were promised.
No, and it hurts. And especially in this game where it felt like the best moments came from the guys that will probably be on this team guaranteed in 5 years compared to the like Davis, I know, got to 27 points and 13 rebounds, but he did not play a good game. He was inefficient. He was 9 of 19. He missed like 2 dunks also, which wasn't great. But like Davis, I don't think played a good game. Klay Thompson was horrific. Like D'Angelo Russell wasn't very good.
Play games.
I know, but like the vets were bad. Like I think the Mavericks' best players in this game were PJ Cooper. I thought Lively was okay when he was on the floor at times. Max Christie was okay. Like those are like your youngest. Those are some of your youngest players are on your core, and there's a part of me that's like, I know it's 2 games, but like they kind of just that's the team, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the foundation. You can't. I don't think no one's going to pull the ripcord after game 2, but it just felt so glaring watching this game, and especially when Cooper. We need to talk about Cooper going off in the 4th because that felt like is that going to be a moment where the team is like is there a moment that's going to come from that it's like, okay, we have to reorient some things and we can't.
So walk me through what they were doing to where he was able to get off. Like, why was he having better chances to score in the 4th quarter versus the previous 3?
Well, Davis was playing the 5. I think that helps. I think him playing with 2 bigs is just offensively, at least for him. It's just, because he's not a sharpshooter. I know he made a couple of threes in the 4th, but he's not like his game is not shooting jumpers. Like you saw in the 4th, he made a couple of jumpers, but he also had he had the awesome dunk. He got to the lane. He had a fantastic reverse layup attempt that he almost made. He's a slasher. He's not a shooter. His shot is getting better.
I mean, he had a couple of dunks in this game where I just I heard
you can't do that with 2 bigs standing near the dunker spot or Anthony Davis standing in the corner and teams aren't like he might as well be standing in the dunker spot because that's where his man is going to be standing, his defender, if Davis is in the corner. So they played I think they didn't really play the 2 big lineup much in the 4th, and Cooper was also more assertive.
That is the thing where it's like how many? Okay, he took 14 shots.
Yeah, he got it up. And
but he took how many did he of those came in the 4th quarter? Like
a lot, most of them.
I have no problem with him pressing the issue earlier. I just don't.
But here's the problem. I don't think this starting lineup lets him press the issue earlier.
Okay.
Because they're not asking him to because
he doesn't like to force it. That's
yeah. And he has to, that's something he'll learn. But also, how do you force it when you're playing with 3 other bigs? You're playing with PJ Davis, Derek Lively. There's no spacing. The other player is Klay, who's going to shoot and needs to shoot. Like, they don't have a guard. He probably is putting it on himself where I don't need to shoot. I need to facilitate more. I get giving him these minutes to push him and make him uncomfortable in a way that can maybe he's better for it on the other side. But man, it would be cool if they could start a game where he's playing with a guard and he could just set screens and roll into 4-on-3 situations, which he did during one possession. I think he found Lively for a lob. He set a screen, rolled down the lane, found Lively for a lob or a dunk. I'm just like, man, imagine if they were just asking him to do that instead of asking him to be a point guard. Like, I don't know. Like, I want to see more of that because I think he's a really devastating off-ball player. I think he's a really good screener. And I think his vision and his passing is maybe better suited in those role situations instead of being like, all right, dude, beat your man off the dribble and make a play or run a pick and roll, which again, he needs to be able to do that stuff. And if he wants to reach the pinnacle of what we think he could be, he needs to do that stuff. And you can only do that stuff with the on-ball reps. But maybe what if they started a game with a normal lineup where he's not a point guard, and then those Cooper point minutes are in the second quarter, mid third quarter, when you're going against other teams' backups, and there's maybe some more margin for error. When you do it, when you're starting the game against the other team's presumably 5 best players, there's less margin for error, and they can just get into these holes. And it didn't bite them in this game in the first quarter because they got out to the 14-point lead, but the third quarter they got smoked.
Okay, that makes sense. I this comes from me not watching.
I just want him to have more easy shots. Like I don't think he's going to get that.
That goes for the whole damn team. I mean, yeah. I've been in defense of Anthony Davis since I've been mean to him. I feel like a lot of his shots are forced and hard too. Like there's no easy shots in this offense. There's none except in transition.
Right. And they only get in transition when they guard, and they guarded well in the first quarter, and they got in transition in the first quarter. But if they don't get stops, how are they're not going to get in transition.
I'm dying. The chat shared this comment. Jason Kidd referred to the Mavericks point guard situation as being shorthanded. Like that's like looking at a person with one arm and saying they're shorthanded. Like what? Why? Like they did this to themselves. It's so amazing.
Yeah, I don't. If D'Angelo Russell is already on the outs, why did you target him? There were other guard options that they could have signed with that salary. And I wrote, and I got on this podcast, and I actually said, I think I prefer Russell over these other options.
I did.
But if Kidd doesn't think so, like, again, is there a disconnect there? Like, did they talk about this? Like, and maybe Kidd was on board, and like, what? And maybe he's like, what is he seeing in practice or in these preseason games? I don't know. Maybe it just changed when he got in the building. Maybe they were on the same page in the summer, and then he got in the building. It didn't look good, but yeah. I know we're getting close to the end, but I want to say Trey Johnson, he fucking rules.
Shout out to Lake Highlands Trey Johnson. He won the
rules. I love him. That's the first time I've really watched him.
I have awesome. A lot of tweets last spring talking about him because I watched him as a junior one game, only watched him one game, and I knew he was it. And then he transferred out of state, and then he went to University of Texas for his 1 year of college. And they're just like, some guards just have it, and he does. He has.
Did you watch him in high school? Because I know you like to go to
Lake Highlands.
Games.
I watched him as a junior, one game. It wasn't the playoffs, it was a regular season game, but it just, certain players stand out in the gym, and I was like, oh, this guy's going to be. I mean, he was nationally ranked at that point. Like, he was highly ranked. But it's one thing to be, top 10 in your high school class, understanding that there's a high school class every year. And so it's like, to stand out and then to make the NBA, he's special.
He's bigger than I thought. He has a long wingspan. He's long. I just, reading his I thought he was like a shorter. I mean, he's not. I mean, he's like 6'5", so he's not like huge, but he's bigger than I thought. I thought he was more like, I'm not going to say Jose Alvarado small, but just the impression I got from reading about like his strengths and weaknesses. But man, he's awesome. And I think if he would have played 35 minutes tonight, I think the Wizards would have won this game by 25 points. He was killing them all night.
Whew. They have some fun players. How it all comes together, I mean, is a different thing. We play them again pretty relatively soon, so we'll get to find out in Washington, D.C. Anyhow. Okay, I want to give a couple of quick shout outs because we got a couple of donations along the way. We had a super chat from Jamie. Thank you, Jamie. And then my man Glenn shot us some money via the link. And same with, I think it's Twan. I hope I don't mess that up because I am terrible with saying names correctly. Very much appreciate this kind of support from time to time. It's very kind of people to consider just to consider our show as part of what they do. We the money is not necessarily why Josh and I do this, but I will tell you, it certainly helps keep our wives from killing us as we stay up too late to do this sort of stuff. Okay, so I'm going to hang out and do group therapy. Josh will hopefully go. We have a new guy, Joe, who's writing his first recap for the site. I am very excited to see what he does. I think he'll probably come on the show at some point. So if you want to join, I'll be posting that link in the comments for the live show people. For everybody that are listening via audio streams, you'll see that in your podcast app at some point Saturday afternoon. Everyone have a better weekend, and we will see everyone on Sunday. And let's go Mavs. Hello, Mavs fans. Welcome to Group Therapy. I am Kirk Henderson of Pod Maverick. For those listening on the audio stream, this is our fan-led after show, which is either very fun or very sad, or sometimes both, depending on the mood. I want to hear from you, what your takes on the game or on the Mavericks, or anything you'd like to talk to me about. We can argue, we can laugh, we can do whatever suits your fancy here on a Friday night. It's about 11 o'clock. I don't have anywhere to go. I already got 2 people waiting to join. It's very exciting, but there's a link in the chat. You can join it very easily by phone or by computer. You can show your face if you do or don't want to. I am looking forward to hearing from you as it makes sense. Coming up first, my longtime friend who I've actually gotten to hang out with in Las Vegas, Glenn. What's up, Glenn? You're muted. Oh, no. Here, we'll try it. So we'll figure out the audio thing. I'll bring you back up, okay? All right, we got my man, Matt. Matt, what's up, brother?
Not much, Kirk. I feel like I was too nice to AD the other night.
I know. You got to be on the game one, though. Like, it serves no purpose to kick the shit out of a guy after one game. That's one thing I will give some of these arguments. I will give some of these arguments. Like, you want him to breathe. And 2 straight games of ugly. It's easy to be mean.
I was over it, to be honest, after game 1, but you could have just easily benched him and played Lively, who wasn't even playing amazing or anything, and they probably won that game.
Yes.
AD, he can't move his feet. I know everybody's been talking, but it's so frustrating. For a guy that's supposed to, and maybe it's because he's out of shape, but I don't think that's really it. I just think I don't think he cares. And I think that energy is bringing a lot of the guys on the team down. So
it's tough because, I used to get kind of defensive on Luka's behalf, and I'm not regarding AD in any of the same way just because I don't have the same emotional connection, quite candidly. But it's very frustrating to watch him right now, and heavy as the crown is what I'll say. And yes. I said this in the other show, where if he's not able to play right now, then they need to if he's not able to play according to his standards, they need to do the same thing they did with Luka.
Yes,
kick his ass out and make him get into shape. Playing into shape and losing is not acceptable to me. It's just not.
Yeah, you give him a wrist injury, give him a back injury, just anything on the injury report designation, and just say he's out 3 weeks.
Yeah. And
the crazy part is, I guarantee you in those 3 weeks, the team will look better without him. I would put money on it. They'd still have a lot of issues with not having point guards and people to initiate the offense smoothly, but at the very least, you would know the back line of the defense would actually fit together and be able to hold up because they can't right now with him playing the way he's playing. It's unsustainable. But did you see Kid's quote?
Yes. Go ahead and tell us about it. I want to hear it.
Yeah, saying that they're shorthanded at point guard, which might be the understatement of the century. Something anybody with a brain knew going into the season. And I'm glad he's saying it, at least, even though it seems kind of pointless at this point, but at least he's kind of throwing his GM under the bus, which, I mean, he got his contract extension. He's probably more safe than Nico at this point. Like,
Kid's a smoother operator than we ever give him credit for, at least me personally. And I think he knows exactly what he's doing. I don't think he wanted Russell. I don't think he had any input on Russell.
He played 9 minutes tonight.
Yeah. And
it was all in the first half.
Yeah, and didn't really look good or bad in my take. Like he had a horrible layup attempt that I remember, like, that's just gonna live in my brain. So
yeah, he's definitely, like, I don't even really have an opinion of Russell right now, other than, like, he needs to stop missing layups. But like, it's just like, he's not getting any run to really give me any opinion, positive or negative. But I mean, if he wants to finally separate himself from Nico in terms of just how it's perceived, go right ahead, man. I don't know if he'll really let you keep your job long term here, but I don't care. If it gets Nico out, do whatever. Say whatever you want. I don't care. So, all right. Well,
all right. No, glad you joined. All right, we're gonna go back. Have a good night, Matt. We're gonna go back to Glenn here, because Glenn was waiting. Glenn, what's up, brother?
Hey, Kirk, can you hear me now?
There we go.
Great.
What's up, brother?
Okay.
How you doing?
I'm great. I'm much happier than most of Mavericks fans. I did not take the kind of detailed notes that I usually take on a game tonight.
1 second, Glenn. Note to the room: if you are getting I can't join because you're trying to join the stage, we might have a packed stage already. The queue allows me up to 10, and unless I want to pay like $400 a month, I can't get a larger queue. So if you see somebody drop off, that's when you try to get back in. I will get through everyone. For those of you who are here the night of the Luka trade, I spoke for 4 hours with people, so I have no problem doing that tonight. Glenn, go ahead. Sorry to cut you off there.
That was me, by the way, that donated the money earlier tonight. I really appreciate what you do here, Kirk, and you don't really ask for a lot of money from all of us. And everyone, you should click that little link that he's got for support. I mean, $5, $10, whatever you can donate. This is what I'm a full bottle into here. It's Capriccio. It's the finest sangria of its kind. It has a 12.9% alcohol amount. That's 13.9%, which makes it the greatest sangria you can buy. So it is. I really, these guys should be paying me for all the endorsements I do, but there's no other wine you can get that's 13.9% alcohol.
Yes.
Anyway, listen, everybody, relax, please. I am as much into this team as everyone, but this is what Kid does to us every year. He experiments with different lineups, looking for what works and what doesn't. He's willing to sacrifice early games. There's no reason that Flagg should have been playing point guard throughout this game as much as he did. And he did it because he wants a crash course in point guard to be taking place here. I think the Mavericks would have won this game if they would have just played point guards at point guard all game long. But look at what happened. By the end of the game, Flagg was feeling more and more comfortable and starting to hit shots and relax and stop thinking about it so much. This team is going to be fine as soon as they get comfortable with what they want to do here, which I don't know what they want to do. I'm not the expert here.
That's the real rub, where it's just like, they clearly have, Kid is not dumb. They clearly have something in mind, and what it is, I don't know. Because it's like, you're going to have variance shooting quarters like the first one where everything goes down. But sometimes you've got to be able to get tougher buckets, and just nothing comes easy for this team. That's the real.
But that's because Flagg is playing point guard and he's not able to do it. You look at him struggling out there, and you feel sorry for him. You're like, hey man, just please give the guy some open shots where he can just get open and hit something by himself. And it's so hard for a guy to play point guard. I mean, like, that's the one position on the floor. That's like playing quarterback in the NFL.
No, it's incredibly. I mean, you and I watched him in the one Vegas game where the first game in Summer League, and he talked about after the game he hadn't been that kind of tired before in a basketball game because it was just so, it was tough.
I went to the Lakers game last week, or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was.
One.
And I keep seeing the same thing where poor Cooper Flagg is out there and he wants to be focused on being Cooper Flagg, but instead they're making him dribble. It's just constantly. Let me just look through my notes here. Max Christie taking a shot with 45 seconds left. Like that, what are we doing? Like that to me was, I mean, that just made no sense, even if you're trying to experiment with lineups or whatever. But that's just how Kid works in the beginning of the season. Also, the Wizards are not the Wizards of last year. The addition of Trey Johnson, you guys talked about this. Trey Johnson adds so much to that team because he is able to make, if you give him an opportunity, he hits it. And that was the way he was in college. It's a real shame that the Longhorns had such a lousy coach around him last year.
Yeah, the Texas is just an odd team. Like he was who I had targeted, where I was like, man, I wonder if he might fall to 11. And then, of course, like the preseason or pre-draft workouts happen, and this is before the lottery and all that. It was like very clear he was going to be top 7 or 8 guy. I'm like, no, we're not going to get him. And then, of course, we fell up to 1.
He's going to be when they do those redrafts, like 2 years from now, or whatever. They go like, if we could redraft, what would it be? Trey Johnson will be top 5 for sure. I mean, he's a guy that's just smooth.
I like a lot of these rookies. It's fun.
Yeah. I'm just looking through my notes. It all says the same thing. It's just about making Cooper Flagg play point guard. If they weren't doing that right now, they would have a much better shot at winning these games. And I'm just here to say, Mavericks fans, relax. Let's just give it some time. 2 weeks from now or 3 weeks from now. I know it sucks because in the West, you need to win every single game.
Right.
Like at the end of the year, we're going to be sitting there at 44 wins going,
you're right.
God, I wish we would have. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wish we would have tried to win those earlier games, but that's just not how Kid operates.
Yep.
So
it's maddening. And this is the longest homestand of the season, and they're 0-2 in the first part of the 6-game homestand. They play 19 of 32 following on February 1st on the road. And it's just harder to win on the road. So,
for sure. But you see it right now, like at bursts. Yeah, and I'm happy right now because in the fourth quarter, we saw what Cooper Flagg can do when he stops when he stops thinking too much, when he just lets it go. The over-under on points, rebounds, assists was 27 tonight for Cooper Flagg. So I won some money just betting on him to hit that over.
There you go.
What did he finish at? Like 28 or 29, I think. But that's a huge indicator of what you're seeing. If you keep seeing him grow that number, points plus assists plus rebounds, I think this team is going to be fine. So you got a packed room. I'll let you go. But hey, thanks for doing what you do, Kirk.
Glenn's the best. Talk soon, buddy.
Talk soon.
All right. Okay. Coming up next, we're just going to go in order of people who pop in the room. We got some spots down there. We got like 8 people waiting. So we're going to go Jason next. Jason, how you doing?
Hey, Kirk. I am feeling really bad, but I think, honestly, we went through all of this, 80 being ass, the guards being ass, all of that, so I don't really want to go through it anymore. So I will try to be somewhat optimistic, just like Glenn, and just say, if we think this season doesn't matter, they're not going anywhere, Kyrie's not coming back, most important thing is Coop development. And Coop fourth quarter was really fun, even though it is pretty telling that all his best moments were in transition. I mean, I think I was really impressed actually by that play where, like he got multiple assists just taking it up the floor in transition, like one to Christie, one to Najee. I think and then also like the one in transition where he got pulled up for the two. Like so, like in transition, he looks really, really good. Where he's not, just breaking down defense, dribble, getting switch, trying to get the mismatch. I think something woke up. I think he woke up in the fourth quarter. He saw that AD did not want to take the ball up, and he's like, okay, I got to do it. So that's the most important thing that came out of this game. If we see more of that in the next 10 games, okay, they go 2-8. I don't really care. This season is a wash at this point. So it's an 80. It's a Coop development season, and all this rest of this stuff is what it is. But yeah, we'll hope Dumont wakes up and they fire Nikos in. Oh my god,
it's just so weird, and I'm watching some of these post game clips. Like Kid is talking about how he was asked about the fire Nico chance, and he said that people have a right to express themselves, and it's like
Kid is on our side. Kid is on our side.
Well, he didn't say that shit last year.
Yeah,
he really didn't, and I've talked about this enough, but it's worth repeating. It's better for me if the Mavericks are winning, but at the same time, if things are going to go like south and I would at least appreciate them being messy like this, as opposed to like boring and sad. Like Kid being like, oh yeah, they have the right. Like what? Like he cares about this is the best. It's just so stupid. And it's, I think Glenn has a point in that the talent of the team should win out in a lot of regards. I don't expect them to be this messy on defense forever. That's the part that I really think they can clean up, even though they just haven't shown it yet. They're too good at defenders individually with certain guys to be this bad. And they just
the issue is, even if you have 5 good defenders, if one is just taking the game off and not like one bad defender just makes the whole thing a domino effect, and it just so yeah, AD just better get his ass on shape, otherwise it'll look like this for another 10 games. So we'll see.
Jason, thank you so much for waiting and talking. All right,
thanks guys. Have a good night.
Talk soon. Mm-hmm. Okay, Anacardo, you are next. Whoops, press the wrong button. How are you? Hit the unmute button if you can, and then we'll see if we can get you chatting with us. You might not be able to find it. It's there on the app. You hit the video button, so that's good. Now we just got to hit you to hit the mute button on the app too. We're watching your air conditioning unit. This is top 10 podcasting. All right, I will remove you from the stage for a bit till you can figure out the mute button on the app, and then I'll bring you back. Sudarshan, what's up?
You guys. Hey, morning, Kirk.
Good morning or evening or whatever time it is. How you doing?
How does it feel with the season already over?
It's not over. The first the 2006 2007 Mavericks lost their first 4 games in humiliating fashion. Like it were bad losses, and then they rattled off a 52-4 run. And so I'm going to put on my Locked On Mavs positivity hat for 30 seconds and say it's still possible.
So basically, what you're saying is AD is going to win MVP.
Damn right.
No, I think you touched on a lot of points with all of the previous listeners, which was interesting in that, we all knew the offense was going to be ass because of the lack of a ball handler. And then we saw that stat that PJ, AD, and Flagg had 18 turnovers combined. But it's the defense that's really, really disappointing and disconnected.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There was so many times, and I know he hasn't played much, but Najee Marshall has been ass in the 2 games that he's played.
Okay, tell me why. I don't know if I've watched him close enough to have a strong opinion.
So, Najee was never the greatest point of attack defender, right? I think he had that one play in the fourth quarter where he basically pickpocketed Keyshawn George. But the rest of the time, maybe it's a byproduct of the way the Wizards were moving the ball, but he was always out of rotation. And there were a number of times where, the Wizards player actually caught the ball on the wing. And it's like momentum, either it's momentum or it was a decision. But there were moments where, Naji is anticipating something, but he's not actually reading the play. So it's like he takes himself out of the play, and then the Wizards have just like a wide open 3-point shot. And that happened like 3 or 4 times constantly.
So that's pretty painful. And that's what Josh was describing in the previous podcast, where he's like, the Mavericks just end up having to help the helper, and all of a sudden someone's getting an open shot or an offensive rebound or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's that's the thing on the defensive effort. I know Kid said, it's their offense that was the major defensive problem, which is frankly it's horseshit. But I mean, it's if you have these many individual defenders, these many great individual defenders, you cannot be this bad a defensive team defensively as a team. I mean, to give up 125 points to the Spurs and 117 points to the Wizards is frankly quite embarrassing.
Yeah, but you know what it does allow us to do? It allows us to say that the Mavericks general manager has no idea about how to build a modern basketball team because he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. Because he is a power-hungry dipshit who took the job and snaked everyone out of it because he had the ability to snooker Mark Cuban, which, as we've learned about Mark Cuban, since he keeps telling us all this on various podcasts,
it's not very hard.
Not very hard. Cuban's just able to be taken for a joyride. So shout out to Nico for usurping not just 1, but 2 billionaires of any sort of sense of what the fuck he's doing. But so we get to rant and rage about him a little bit, but it's just, it's striking because I got to tell you, I even bought in to the concept of the team defense. And I still think that there's some hope for it because defense takes time. But right now, I don't know where the problems, like there's so many problems when they get put into the blend that I don't know where you fix it. I mean, part of it is me thinking that AD is a much bigger problem at the defense than, and I ranted about that earlier, but I could be wrong. These guys are obviously experts. There's things they know, meaning the Mavericks coaching staff. So they're going to need to come up with solutions to what these problems are, because through 2 games, they don't seem to have any.
No, I mean, and the thing is, I don't think there's anything the coaching staff can do to mitigate the way the roster is constructed. Because, I mean, if you look at the minutes, AD played 38 minutes tonight. We could see how, everyone was commenting on how sluggish it was. I think you had posted something on the Slack about someone sitting directly opposite the Mavs bench.
Yeah, my high school coach was there, and he texted me and was like, he looks terrible. This is a guy who coached basketball for 40 years and coached against number of NBA players that and he knows ball. Like, and he's just like, this is not the guy I've watched play basketball. And it's obvious to anyone with eyes. And like where I start to feel crazy is like the same shit happened with Luka, where people would tell me that Luka wasn't heavy. And I'm like, I know what I'm watching. It's like, what? How can you look at this and say, no, it's not true?
Yeah, but here's the thing. Luka, even if he was 300 pounds, would still keep the ball moving. He was a playmaker, right? So he could initiate the offense.
Different style of play. Yeah, for sure.
Completely different style of play. If AD is overweight, right? AD is not a play initiator. He is someone who you could basically play him with the Dirk roll at the foul line and ask him to create, to basically find cutters and stuff like that. But you're not going to ask him to bring the ball up, play with his back to the basket and then sort of create. It's kind of like, in some ways, it's what you could play him the way you used to play Gafford and Lively during the 2024 playoff run, where basically the 2 of them would come to the foul line and basically you would have either Derek Jones Jr. or PJ Washington cut in off the wings or off the baseline. And you could find them off of that. So that's the kind of offense that you can run easily through AD. But if you're going to ask him to do dribble handoffs and all of those kind of things, it's not really his game. And considering how ridiculously sluggish he is, playing him 38 minutes, playing Lively 19 minutes, Makes no freaking sense.
Oh, it's not fun. As Jason Kidd just said in a post game quote, we'll all get another crack at it on Sunday, which is
and for all the people who used to hate on Luka, please watch the number of times Anthony Davis is the last defender back.
Oh, it's like every fourth play. He barks so loudly, and he's not wrong. He got fouled on some stuff tonight, but it's like just like Luka. I don't know. It's a different deal.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, it's. I saw someone. I mean, obviously the crazies are out there on both sides. Someone was saying they need to go like 2 for 18 to send a message to the ownership that this entire like management stuff needs to be fired. Obviously, I'm not rooting for that, but I mean, if it gets that idiot out of the GM role, then yeah, whatever.
Okay, man. Well, I appreciate you joining once again. I know you're writing stuff for us. Or, head over to Mavs Moneyball to read Sudar Shan whenever he is contributing. You're like, did I sign up for something and don't remember it?
No, it was the great speech. I will have that out soon.
All right. Talk soon, buddy.
Okay, take care, man.
All right. We're going to try Anacardo again, but right after I drop in a little space for some ads here and ask you once again to consider subscribing to the show. If you haven't, we will be right back. Okay, thank you so much. If you again, we're doing the show often. I like talking to you people. Coming up next, Anacardo. What's up?
Hi, Kirk. Can you hear me?
I can. You sound good, clear. What's going on?
Excellent. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
That's what I'm talking about. Welcome to the show.
Glad to be here. So, I feel like your comments on the political level of Mavs management have been very insightful. And for those who don't really understand, I want to recommend James Burnham's 1940 classic, The Managerial Revolution, or What is Happening in the World, to really get a grasp on what we're seeing. I think you're very right as far as ownership is completely checked out. Nico has basically carved out this weird fiefdom where he runs the team more or less unopposed. I think Jason is just kind of this weird, like, company man who is desperately trying to make Anthony Davis something that he's not. Anthony Davis is just a guy who seems like he's kind of checked out at this point. I mean, I understand it's only 2 games, but he really looked like a guy who's just sort of mailed it in and is just like looking to cash checks and riding off his former greatness, former championship. I don't really know what we're going to do. The fire in Cooper is nice. I think he's going to be a really great player. I don't think we're going to whiff on a number 1 pick. I think he's going to be a great player going down the line. But it's like this team is so poorly constructed. Maybe it might have been a nice version of like, if we were like the Miami Heat in like 1997, this might look kind of good, except we still don't have a point guard even for 30 years ago.
Yes.
But otherwise, it's like, what are we going to do? The modern game is so much about like creating threes and preventing threes, and like we can't do either one. So what's it going to be? Kyrie already gave his body up in like the ultimate sacrifice last year. I mean, he was wearing that hat or that shirt that said, what was it? He who dies in this life shall never die in the next, or whatever. Where like he knew he was going to be just completely run into the ground and probably suffer a serious injury. And that's exactly what happened. Kyrie is not stupid. Like he knew what he was in for. He signed up for the sacrifice. He took it. But now it's like, what are we going to do? We're already pulling like Jaden and like Ryan Nembhard off the bench, desperately trying to find somebody who can do a 3-point shot. It's game 2, man. It's the Wiz.
It shouldn't feel this bleak. And I just need to note, guys, for a first-time caller, Anacardo has shot himself into an S tier of guests because
thanks, man.
He recommended a book where I go and I'm looking it up here, and It's a book, The Managerial Revolution by James Burnham. He says it'll help us understand what's going on with the Mavericks. And the lead line in the book, the lead quote, like the inside the cover of the book, is a quote from George Orwell saying Burnham has real courage and writes about real issues. So I'm just going to say you're really tapping into my, like, politics and organizational chicanery is just a real thing that I love to think about. So you're just tapping in to something that I'm into. And the Mavericks are just they're so silly. They're so silly. Every organization is goofy. I've worked for some absolute jokes.
Sure.
And no place is perfect. But when you're a public facing organization, the way sports franchises are, right, discontent and goofy shit, it looks so much worse because all of your public business, if things get out there, advertised. And right now, because Nico Harrison has been such a dolt the entire time since the Luka trade, from the morning that he gave that terrible press conference before the Cleveland game, it's just one bad misstep after another. And they just, I don't know if you remember the Mavericks put out a video after Flagg was after the Mavericks won the lottery, and it was like 30 seconds of Nico celebrations. It was super weird, and it's like, who thought, like, what? Who cares about this guy? No one. He didn't do anything. It's gonna be. I will tell you this.
That's because Nico de facto doesn't have a boss, and like everyone is trying to please him.
No one understands. Very few people within the Mavericks, like fiefdom, understand that we no longer have an owner who cares. And the Blazers had this situation when Paul Allen died, and that GM did what he wanted for like 5 years before the Paul Allen's sister stepped in and finally was like, okay, I guess we have to fire this guy. And like, that's just sort of the land that we live in now. He's going to do exactly what he wants for as long as he wants, and will justify every decision he makes because there's nothing coming for him. Like, we can talk about him as much as we want, and I've really strayed away from him for months because there's just not a lot of point. But like tonight, they were firing Nico Chance. Like Tim McMahon talked about it. This is if they don't pull up out of this, it's going to get real wonky in that building.
Well, as our mutual Uncle Block had to say tonight, like, our real hope is the fact that Cooper's parents, reminder, Cooper is a kid. He's like almost 19 years old. So like, his parents still carry significant weight in his life. Like, his parents have enough weight in the basketball community to actually do something about this. And I think that's our real hope. It's like, you're not squandering our boys' career to like trade Quentin Grimes for Caleb Martin again, or whatever equivalent that takes place down the line. Because as you've said, like, we're hilariously over salary in the coming years. Like, we're going to have to move some guys. What the hell is going on with Derek Lively, Kirk?
I don't know. I mean, he's so young, and Biggs, like, he just doesn't have a ton of experience. So I think when things go bad for him, they escalate.
Yeah.
It's like a compounding factor. And when that's what I don't know if you listened to the first part of the show, but I sort of think it's like AD is such a problem defensively for me right now. I would they rather pull AD and give Lively a chance to maybe make these mistakes. Like, if Lively's going to make mistakes, let's make them growing pain mistakes. So.
Right. Yeah. AD is just going to like sort of passively demand the ball and like yap at people he thinks is not worthy of him, even though he's the problem, or at least that's what it's looking like it's going to be down the line.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I think it comes sooner rather than later if they don't pull out of this tailspin.
But again, it's like, if you had like if you had a coach with like the vision and the balls to like sit AD for like, a whole half or whatever, and be like, man, you're the problem. We need you to, you're either going to get your shit together or you're not going to play. That would be one thing, but that's not who Jason is. We all know that.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I hope you make it back to later shows. I'm going to try to do this as often as people are interested. Unfortunately, last year after Luka was traded, it just the fan interest just fell through the floor, and so we'll see. I think everybody's still pretty jazzed right now because above all else, you got Cooper to watch, and that's fun.
Yes, it is. All right, great talking to you, Kirk.
All right, talk soon. Have a good one.
Yep.
Okay, coming up next here is probably going to lead us out unless someone else wants to comment. Is Brian? Welcome to the show, Brian. How you doing, buddy?
Hey. Man, I've just got. I'm so happy right now. I'm so happy right now. I've just got to say, Glenn, Jason, you guys are wonderful people, incredibly nice human beings. I'm not here to do none of that kumbaya shit, boy. I'm stunk graves. It's over with. Fuck Nico. Fuck Jason Kidd. It is over with, and it's over with in the exact way that we told y'all it was gonna be over with. This is a wrap. This roster is a wrap. This GM is a wrap. As soon as somebody figures out that he's actually not the owner of the franchise and has a boss, it's over with for Jason Kidd too. And it's kind of unfortunate because I was arguing with somebody on Twitter just a couple of minutes ago about Jason Kidd needing to be the first person guard. Hey, man, what the fuck is Jason Kidd going to do? They're like, man, he's starting the small forward at point guard. I'm like, where are the point guards? He's going to start at point guard. That's not his job.
Nope. I think he did have input on the roster at one point, but Nico's really taken ownership over a lot of this stuff and very clearly views himself as the captain, which is fine, general manager. And I think that this is just my sort of take here is that I think Kidd led Nico into a bit of a trap and let him sign who he wanted only to be able to look up and say, I don't think D'Angelo Russell can play.
Kirk, he literally, he just went and said, as Jack tweeted, immediately after he got his extension, very bold and courageous. Immediately after he got his extension, he was asked tonight about the guard play. He said, hey, we're kind of shorthanded on guards. And I'm like,
yeah.
Kirk, he is about to backdoor Nico so tough. I cannot wait. This will probably be one of my favorite things that Jason Kidd has done for this franchise. It might be higher than helping us win the championship if he backdoors Nico and manages to keep his job after with the new GM.
Well, I mean, so you remember we're at the end of a long show and we're getting into La La Land, and people who are listening at this point are really the hardcore fans. My long time opinion, which is, I think backed by a fair amount of logic paired with what people have said, is that Jason Kidd was aware that Nico was interested in trading Luka. I think he was aware of it.
Yeah.
I don't actually think that Kidd had any direct notice of the trade happening. I also don't think that he bought in so much as it's just like, okay, this guy's pissed and we're going to have to get through this because who trades a superstar? And then it happened. And like, I still remember the Cleveland press conference where Kidd's sitting there like, like really awkward. Like, and
yeah,
Kidd's a sociopath. He was genuinely like, what the fuck? Like there was a like he was not down in that press conference. Do you remember what I'm talking about? Like he looked like, why am I here? Kind of.
I do. He looked like he was being held there at gunpoint, man.
Yes. And because that was not a Mavs media, like that was just media because it was in Cleveland. Yeah. And so I'm still of the opinion that like he knew, but he wasn't responsible in the fact that he was probably like, yeah, sure, if you can trade him, whatever, because who would have done that? I know Finley didn't know. I have that on fantastic sourcing that Finley didn't know. And so I also think Patrick Dumont was aware, but I also think Dumont was the kind, and this is the thing that Mavs fans just don't believe. And I don't know. And what it tells me is when you argue with me about this, you've not worked in a business that's like this. It's fine. And Dumont let his employee do his job. He didn't micromanage. Mm-hmm. So when if you don't agree with when somebody wants to do something that works for you, you have two choices. You either fire them or you let them do the thing that they are saying is a good business move. Those are your two choices when you disagree. Right. Like, because if you don't agree and you overrule somebody else's decision making, then at that point, that person should not work for you. That's not why you employ an expert. Did I just wake up my child? Okay, never mind. He's talking to himself. Okay. And so it's funny. And I think that Kidd and Dumont were in the same boat of awareness, but not signing off. And I think Nico did this totally on his own. And that's how we ended up where we are here. Now, at this point, you probably heard me say this like 6 times, so nobody cares. but it's crazy that we're at this point, you know, and part of this is painful, guys. Just so you know, like Luka's going off in a game, like just absolutely going off. He dunked. Luka doesn't dunk. The Lakers are blowing out the Wolves. Luka has a gorillion. Luka has 48, 11, and 8. So it's I know that it's okay.
I believe Luka is the first player in Lakers history with back-to-back 40-point games to open up a season. I saw Dave McMenamin tweet that out just a couple of minutes ago. Got a good laugh at that.
Yeah.
Just make it hurt, man.
Well, I just think Nico's going to be in a weird position right now because they've got to find wins, consistency, and the consistency is the part that I'm not sure that they're going to find. Like, they're going to win. Like, I actually think they're going to win. Fine. I think that Glenn's point that in 3 weeks we're going to be playing just above 500 basketball, I still think I'm still there. Like, I just can't envision this team being this ass forever. Do you know what I mean?
Hey, one day you'll get over to my side. I don't see that happening. If we're 3 weeks away and we're playing 500 basketball, it won't matter because we'll already have like a 25% win record. So like the record will be poop. If we're playing 500 basketball, we may get to 500 around January.
Yeah,
at the rate they're going. I don't think that is sustainable. I don't think that is what Nico was promising. And I think eventually somebody above or around the nebulous cloud that is big old Patrick Dumont is going to notice. And if it keeps going at this rate, that brother's getting the can.
I got this one guy on Twitter who just sends me close-ups of Dumont's face whenever he's pissed off about something. So it's like I'll just go to my mentions and there'll just be this giant, like, zoned in Dumont face. It's very, very funny. Shout out to Tyler in the chat who's like, who is like, you're talking conspiracy, and then he throws out, he's like, he's like, I don't want to hear this. He's like, do you believe that the Twin Towers were a inside job? And then he goes, the NBA traded Luka. I just like that's a top-notch comment. I really I almost started laughing when I read it, but I didn't want to do it in the middle of the show. Who do they play Wednesday? Because they got a back-to-back coming up. They play Sunday, Monday. Who do we got here?
Good question. Let's take a
pull
look.
It up. You think I should know this, given that I run a website? So they play Toronto on Sunday night, and that's an early game in Dallas. And then they play Oklahoma City.
You said Sunday? Sunday, Toronto?
Sunday, Toronto, Monday, Oklahoma City.
Okay, so Sunday, Toronto, early game. So let me just get everyone in the chat prepared. Toronto might be the next most ferocious pressing defense in the league next to the Thunder. And we're about to play them back to back. Yeah. Let me tell you something. If you think the turnovers from tonight look bad, most of which were 80's fault, by the way, for just actively not going after balls that were passed to him. If you think turnovers tonight were bad, they're going to set records against Toronto or OKC. One of the two. Toronto is going to destroy this team. They're going to run them out of that building.
Oh, that would be bad.
They're so much better than the Wizards. They play so much faster. They have so much more on offense. They're a better defense.
Shout out to Reese. I did not come back for this.
Hey, word to Reese. Reese, we love you, brother. I'm telling you, stay where you are. If you are in line, if you are in the Mavericks line, do not move. I'm telling you, that dude is on his way out fairly soon. This is all going to be in the past before you know it. But Sunday is about to hurt. And I'm just letting y'all know right now. It's going to get
wow. Ugly. Okay. Well, we'll be back here because what else am I going to do? It's really shocking, guys. If you've not looked at the Maverick schedule, if you've not like internalized it, like you took a look and you're kind of like, whatever. They play a ton of games, not only at home, but also in like a tightly condensed period of time. They play Sunday, Monday, Wednesday. So at that point, I think they're essentially starting the season playing 5 games in 7 nights, which is tough. It's real tough. And they play in oh my God. So it goes Oklahoma City, Pacers, Detroit after that. And then and the Pacers are just death by 1,000 cuts.
Kirk, what happens if they just start 0-5?
I don't think so. I just can't see. I don't know who they beat, but I think they beat someone. I just can't see it.
The Raptors are their best shot, but it's a Sunday early game, and they always stink in those.
And I'm a shit, but even I can't do that. Like, I don't want them to lose. Like, part of me like cackles insanely because it's like, I trust my own basketball takes, as we all should. It's sports. It doesn't really matter. But I've just been really flabbergasted. Tyler, that's a great comment. Just listening and reading to all you sheeple who believe everything the TV says. Well, the only reason I shared that story, guys, is because I talked to a lot of people. Like, I know no one seems to care, and nor should you, because it's not like I'm a real reporter. But it's like, I had a conversation with former ESPN personality Will Kane, who happens to know the Mavericks owners and who's a Mavericks fan. And we were spitting ideas. Talk with McMahon on a show about how this stuff happened. And I just sort of pieced stuff together. Like I'm not, and then you watch Nico's press conferences. I mean, that is a man who just does what he wants. If it wasn't to my team, I would think this is amazing. You know what I mean? It's because it's like you just don't see this kind of power in sports. Everybody's got somebody, and this guy's like managed to really figure stuff out. So just C-Max says Will Kane is an idiot. That's not what I'm questioning, but I do know that he literally went to a Mavericks game with Miriam Adelson. That is a thing that happened. Like, he was there with them last year. He knows the group. And so he and I were just spitballing ideas one day because we were talking about this. He and I went to the same college. That's why I know him. Yeah, 1,000 years ago. Like, we didn't go together, but like found that out, and then just started talking over DMs. Like back when he was still with before he was a Fox News guy.
ESPN.
Yeah, just doing talk radio and stuff. This is just such a funny. I didn't envision this kind of start to the season. That's really what it came down to. Like, I thought that they would play 3 yards in a cloud of dust basketball and like start out like 4-2, and everybody'd be telling me, "Shut up, Kirk. See, you were wrong." And I would have been like, great, that's good. I want the Mavericks to be good. And instead, like, all my worst fears are coming to life, and I still don't like it. There's a little bit of like, well, I guess I do kind of know basketball because basketball is not that complicated. You need guards, like a real simple
people
statement.
who can dribble and shoot, preferably at the same time. If you pass the ball, I'm at the place that I'm at right now where I found like kind of a level of zen. After that Spurs game, after sitting through that, I can sit through anything because I knew that this is what it was going to look like. I didn't know it was going to look like quite what Victor was doing us in game 1. But if I could sit through that, I saw this Wizards game coming a mile away, and I was like,
because you talked about it last game. You said it's a 3-point variance game, and they're 3-point shoot. I mean, they shot 42%. It's not like they shot 55% from 3 or anything like that.
You don't have to be crazy when you're playing a team that can't make threes and won't shoot them. Like, they shot more. I think we went 10 for 34 in this game, something like that from 3. Yeah. Which still, that it's like a college team.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I could tell what this was going to look like, and I could tell that we were going to get some of the reactions that we've gotten online. And I'm just telling y'all, hey, brace, because the storm is not over. And while it's serving my purpose of getting that dude out of the chair, it obviously is going to be hard on the fan base because nobody likes to lose.
Sorry for your Ryan Nembhard minutes tonight. He was ass.
Hey, look, this is what I've been telling people. That dude has so much talent as a like backup guard or like a third guard, and they're trying to force him to be like their primary ball handler. And he's lined up to bringing them into, and it's like, y'all at.
Were you watching the Mavs during the Gal Meckel era?
Ooh,
we're talking like 2013, 2014.
Yes.
So it was when they had Sarge, shout out to Sarge, and they were just literally throwing shit at the wall because they had nothing. That's what, and that was the whole team though, not just,
Oh yeah.
It's been worse, but right now it doesn't feel like it. I mean, we always have the Derek Fisher point guard year, and that was heinous, and the Mike James, also the Mike James year, which happened to be the same year. Derek Fisher and Mike James in the same year. Ugh.
I cannot believe that was the same season.
Go look at that roster, brother. It is disgusting.
Oh boy.
All right, man. We'll talk soon. Okay.
Yes, sir. Sounds good.
Right. Later. All right. Sam is waiting. Sam, what's up?
Hey, can you hear me, Kirk?
I can hear you. You better not be driving out in this rain.
Well, I'm not driving in the rain. I'm sitting in my car in the rain because I had to drive to get something to eat to probably throw that shit back up after I watched that game. So it was pathetic.
Now you're envisioning that you're in an R&B video from the 90s with like the rain just pouring everywhere around you.
Let the rain fall. Yeah, But okay, let's. I said this at the last show. I literally said, okay, if they lose this game, shit can go left really fast.
Yep.
And I really hate doing this because it's just gonna be like this forever, just because of the trade. So whenever Luka does something amazing like he did tonight, it's just gonna be like, man, remember when we had that on our team? And then you see AD, who's the guy that we traded for, because the guy we traded was always out of shape, but now the guy we got is out of shape. Now, to be fair, I will give him grace because he did have surgery, so maybe he couldn't do what he wanted to do. So I'll give him a little, a pass on that. But otherwise, my man's out of shape. Like he's not moving well. I was thinking at this point, after the Cooper Flagg experiment, I said, okay, let's just start D'Lo game 2. Let's just get a traditional guard out there and let's just see what happens. But that didn't happen. And I guess the trend is so far in these 2 games, hey, we do okay in the first quarter, and then after that, we just get blitzed, and we can't do nothing about it. So at this point, like, I don't know what else they want to do. I'm actually disappointed in the crowd because I would have booed like in the beginning of the third quarter instead of at the end where they started chanting "Fire Nico," which cool, I guess, but he's not going nowhere. I think Kid is already over it. Like what you said at the press conference, he said the fans need to express themselves, and it's like, okay, he doesn't care about Nico no more. He doesn't want D'Lo. I honestly think, and I'm not gonna take credit for this because I saw this, but Jason Kidd, I think he's trying to do what he did with Giannis when he had him running point guard, watch for a little bit.
That's absolutely what he's doing. Yeah,
just running and figure it out. But Cooper isn't Giannis. Like, it's just a different type of player. Like, if it was like that, then I would say, you know what, you can see the development. And I'm not even saying I don't see it now, because a lot of people are saying, oh, this is what I'm saying. I think if everything goes well with Cooper, he can be like I won't say Kawhi Leonard, but Kawhi Leonard light. As far as, he can handle the ball, he can hit the mid-range, he can shoot the 3, he can rebound, he can play defense, he can do all those things. That's my comparison for him if he lives up to his potential. And it's just not fair to him, obviously, because he's 18 years old. Hell, Max Christie said it. We got him playing a position he's not supposed to play, but we just got him out there and we're just trying to figure it out. And even to the point where D'Lo played 9 minutes tonight, didn't play in the second half, that just lets you know. Kirk, I'm sorry, I don't see how you see it. I don't think we're going to win a game on this homestand.
I mean, if they don't win a game on this homestand, that changes the whole deal. I think everything is on the table at that point. You can't say you're a championship contender and start the season 0-6. You just can't.
Like, this.
Might have lost Sam there out in the weather. Give him a second to come back here, and otherwise it would be a fitting end where it's like Sam just lost service the way the Mavericks lost the game. And the only people listening at this point are our favorite sickos. All right, Sam got booted. Okay, guys, I'm going to cut this off. We'll be back on Sunday night. I really appreciate all of you. Tyler, shout out for very good commentary, even though you joined the show late. JJ Texas, thank you so much. Everybody that's in the chat there, very much appreciate you guys hanging out. Check for live stream posting and join the show early. Josh and I will be back, I guess, for a Sunday night game. We'll be back probably by 9 or 9:30, and we'll get this show on the road then. Everyone have a good Saturday, and we will talk soon. Go Mavs.